Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is chapter 53, Moving In. Let's see. Days later, I still couldn't get the image of our kissing Laila out of my mind. On one hand, I was happy for them. I would deserve to have someone who was invested in her. But on the other, I wanted to scream, cry, shake my past self by the shoulders. How could I let her slip through my fingers like this? I was still mulling it over the next day after school when I turned the corner and then, oof, oh my god. Papers went flying, books crashed to the floor, and we fell in the heap on the floor. I caught the familiar scent of her perfume as she landed on the top of me. Hey, the sound of her voice brought back a close wave of emotion. My cheeks were radiating with heat. I held her back to her feet, then knelt to help pick up the bed. I'm really sorry for running into you under the bed. I could feel her eyes on me, but I focused my attention on each individual sheet of paper until she took my hands in hers. Apology accepted for both. It actually ended up working out. I'm seeing a certain someone right now, and I think things could go really well. We haven't made it official yet or anything. I just want to see where it goes before I tell anybody. You understand, right? And in that moment, my chest felt like it caved in. Because of course it did. I stood up in a hurry and plastered a fake smile on my face. Alright, I wish you guys the best. I just think it's easier this way, Take a little off of your plate. Wait, what? You started dating someone to help me. Both of us, we have to face the facts, Adi. You were having a hard enough time deciding what you wanted as it was. But I wanted you to wait for me. I wasn't sure if I liked girls too. Well, I did, but I can't wait forever. Here's to what could have been, I guess. Yeah, I hate that I'm so indecisive. Every time I think I know who I want, I end up falling harder for someone else. I don't want any more carnage. Don't let the fear of making the wrong choice stop you from making a choice at all. Take it from someone who knows. Embracing how you really feel is scary, but you need to, or your love its triangle is gonna implode and take you with it. She moved closer and wrapped me into a hug. My hands found her waist, then her lower back as she whispered in my ear. And that would be a shame. As suddenly as she leaned in, Ava pulled away, shouldering past me and down the hall. I stood there crushed, thinking I had missed my chance with Ava forever. Of course it wasn't, but there was no way for me to know that yet. So I tried to push the pain out of my mind and set off to the Winter Wonderland planning committee. That day we were tasked with decorating the gym. As we worked, my phone buzzed. I quickly checked it, hoping we were working hand it over. What? But you're always on your phone. I'll have you know I'm doing very important things on my phone. Don't make me tell Mrs. Lauren I couldn't allow your work to be in silent auction because you didn't pull your weight. Are you serious? You haven't done a single thing. You just passed the heavy lifting off to the rest of us. It's called delegating. One of many perks of being the boss. Don't like it, quite. Lauren, you're a real piece of work. Mrs. Lauren would never believe you. You're lazy, just a total asshole, a crumbling global. Oh, good one. Tell me more. That way I can play it back at your funeral. Fine, I'll get to work and give you the diamond phone. That's what I thought. When you are done sulking, there's a giant castle that still needs to be built and painted. Get to it. I quickly handed her my phone, and she walked off to micromanage someone else. I glanced over to half-built castle to find Nod driving a nail through a wooden bolt, sweat glistening off his toned body. Mason crouched on the far side of the castle, his handsome face focused as he painted the outside of the castle snow white. If I'm gonna do work, I might as well enjoy it. And Ava did say I should figure out my feelings. There was enough time for me to get up close and personal with both of them if I wanted. Well, I should build the castle with now. Build paint the set with the mason. Work on my own. I chanced to look back at Lauren to find her watching me from across the room, waiting to nitpick my next move. Keep my head down for now. With a sigh, I found an unworked part of the castle to get started working on my own. Let's see what brings us next. As the night went on, while I was hard at work on the castle, a hand nudged me. I looked up to find Nob gesturing over my shoulder with his head. Talk about an odd couple over there. I glanced over to where he had nodded to see Lauren hanging all over the disinterested scooter. To be fair, Lauren and anybody would be weird pairing. What had you think they are saying? Oh, Scoot is totally trying to convince Lauren to let him exhibit his work at silent auction without doing any work. Check this out. He leaned against the castle, one foot pressed hard against the surface to mock Scooter's stance before throwing on his look of thinly veiled disgust. Cheerleading cool, but have you ever tagged an overpass with the letters ICU and giant I? Cause I haven't either, but I stood around while Elijah did, and I have gotten major clout of claiming that job. I laughed and did my best Lauren impersonate smile. Well, I was named America's best cheerleader by Lawrence Hermicero himself. Possessively, don't look it up though. We cackled. Nearby, Mason shook his head with a smile. You two are terrible. You can't tell me you don't want in on this. Show us what you got, Jane. Mason hesitated before finally coming over and taking my hand in his. Lauren, I'm not interested in you one bit, but I am willing to pretend if it means I get a place at silent auction. To get back her. I should play kissy face with Knock this time because I went with homecoming with Kissy. I projected my voice loud enough for them to hear and fell into Knock, grasped dramatically. He held me at an arm's distance, his posture a dead ringer for Scooter's uncomfortable stance with Lawrence. Please, Scooter, just one kiss. Only if you don't make me do any actual work. Deal. We pressed their foreheads together and rubbed each other's backs wildly in an exaggerated stage kiss. Oh, grow up. But the damage was done. Scooter grimaced and slipped his bag over his shoulder. Yeah, I'll catch you later, Lauren. Scooter, wait, they're just a bunch of idiots. She raced out of the gym after him, the door slamming in their wake. Noah pulled me in for a hug and we laughed. The vibrations sending shock waves through our still intervened bodies. The laughter faded and I drew in a sharp breath. I bit my lip as my eyes wandered by up the tender skin of his neck to his strong jawline, full lips. Martin cleared his throat. They're gone, guys. They're gone, you guys. An awkward silence fell around us as my face warmed in embarrassment, and I staggered back out of Noah's arms. We found to avoid eye contact. It's getting late. I should probably go. Yeah, I have got to check on his. And my dad's probably wondering where I am. As quickly as we could, we snatched up our bags and hustled towards the gym door. I pulled the handle. Huh? It's locked. No way. Allow me, Addy. Mason stepped ahead of me and yanked at the handle, but it just slipped past us, grabbing the handle and tugged. But even then it didn't budge. Now who's joking around? You thought you could do better than me, huh? As the boys argued, I looked at the empty gym around us, the clock on the wall, and the situation really sank in. Don't tell me we are locked in for the night. Oh, wow, this was something amazing. But that was all for chapter 53, and I will get you back soon with chapter 54. Thanks, bye.